Alright, it figures. The one time they published the TWAB 3 hours early, I am immediately heading into a doctor's appointment I can't get out of, so I'm a little late with this, and I have not looked at this yet, despite wanting to check my phone, because I wanted to do a live reaction read-through about what I thought was going to be a pretty meaty TWAB based on the preview information we were given. In terms of both kind of Vault of Glass stuff. We did Solstice of Heroes stuff earlier, which I did have under embargo that I already covered. And then we are getting some sandbox things. So I thought I would just go through this, at least the important parts of it. If we can skip some of the stuff we've already talked about, like maybe the Solstice of Heroes stuff that I know exists. New armor. And new gun. Okay. I'm just going to go straight until the other stuff and maybe do a separate Solstice video once we actually get closer to Solstice, so let's do this. Fate Breakers. Raids fall squarely into the endgame space of Destiny, providing aspirational content for fire teams of 6 to conquer. Once you've climbed the mountain and planted your flag, you may find yourself asking, what's next? Well, I'm here today to let you know that you haven't summited the mountain just yet. If you truly wish to call yourself a master of the Vault of Glass, you'll be challenged to earn that respect. Beginning Tuesday, July 6th, Vault of Glass Master difficulty will become available to all the players. So I think Master is 1330 and Nightfalls, so what will this be? How do you enter? When signing in next Tuesday, Vault of Glass will offer a Master difficulty option to launch for you and your fire team. While there is no minimum power requirement to enter, enemies will be at 1350 power, so you will want to earn some pinnacle power and raise your artifact levels before attempting a run. Okay, so we do have our answer in terms of what power matters for in Destiny 2 right now. Previously, the only thing I could really come up with is more efficiently running Master Nightfalls because GMs are set at challenge mode and Trials and Iron Banner do not use artifact power, so it is very clear that additional power will benefit you in Master runs. So if you are 1335, which is the minimum for Grandmasters, you are still 15 under power for a Master raid, which is not like terrible, but I think I'm like around that. But if you are like much lower than that, it is going to be extremely hard, if not impossible. And I'm sure this will kind of change a lot of the mechanics of how easy it is to one-phase bosses and stuff. So like Atheon, you end Vault of Glass at 1320, so this is 30 power ahead of that. So enemies will be at 1350 power. So I assume that they're all at 1350, and it's not going to ramp up to like 1370 by Atheon. They don't say that. I guess we'll find out. What can you earn? First up, Master Vault of Glass unlocks the final triumphs required for the Fate Breaker raid, seal, and title. Once completed, players may equip their in-game title and purchase the Bungie Rewards pin if they so desire. Second, Master Vault of Glass will also introduce time-lost weapons to Destiny 2. Yeah, we figured that. Time-lost weapons can be comparable to adept weaponry from Grandmaster Nightfalls or Flawless Trials passages, but offer an additional perk in columns 3 and 4 for slightly more customization. Wait, additional perk in columns 3 and 4? Interesting. Okay. I assume that's like... is that an alternate perk or is it an additional perk? Like every adept gun now has whatever the specific perk is. What are the ones they changed? You know what I'm talking about. The ones that were crappy and then they now buffed them. Is there one like that for here? I guess I'll just keep reading. Complete Vault of Glass challenges in the Master difficulty of the activity and you will be rewarded. Each week will feature a specific time-lost weapon for you to hunt, rotating alongside the available challenge. Okay, so they're tied to challenges. It's not like they're just dropping randomly from chests. Once you've earned a time-lost weapon, you may also purchase additional rolls from the chest at the end of the raid on Master difficulty using Spoils of Conquest. Note that these will be at a higher price than normal versions of these weapons. Yeah, I figured. Please note, weekly reward lockouts are shared between both normal and Master difficulties of Vault of Glass. That means encounters, challenges, and hidden chests will only award you the first time you complete them in either activity each week. They must be completed at Master difficulty to earn the time-lost weapons and stat-focused armor. Lastly, armor from the Master difficulty of Vault of Glass will focus on specific stats rotating weekly. If you've been hunting a Prime Zealot helm with a high spike in the inlet stats, Master difficulty will give you greater chances at the distribution you're looking for. Okay, I mean, I guess that's better than nothing. Like, I don't know how important like specific stats on specific raid armor is. I guess transmog is like here now, and so that's made a lot of this pointless. But there are specific, lest everyone forget, there are Vault of Glass mods. Sorry, Fortnite pops up. We're coming up here. There are specific mods that people can use for Vault of Glass for like bonuses. It's just that nobody uses those right now because it's really easy and you don't need the mods. But at 1350, maybe they will actually help. Maybe people will actually be using them. So I'll be curious to see that. I have a few more questions about adept weapons. Are they going to talk about these? Okay, so the time loss weapons, are they going to function like where you masterwork them for extra stats and they also get adept mods? Like I'm assuming that's how it works. And also I want to know more about this additional perk in columns 3 or 4 for slightly more customization. I assume that will be a set perk that drops on all of them that you can alternate between, and not just you'll get like 2 rolls of the potential perks in those slots. If that was that would be kind of cool. But I don't think that makes that very clear. Get ready for a fight. This won't be a walk in the park if you haven't dipped your toes into Destiny 2 Endgame before. Enemies will be tougher. They'll be looking to put you down with more aggression. A few more champions will be appearing to defend the vault. More modifiers will be active, forcing you to think on your feet and come prepared. If you're looking to increase your power, make sure to complete your weekly milestones for pinnacle rewards. One way to do that is the Iron Banner. It's active right now, so make sure you complete those bounties for 4 kinetic weapons in a row. No, that's not what it says, but we all know that's usually what happens. Atheon will be seeing you next week. Good luck to all the fire teams as they attempt their first master difficulty raid. Okay, I mean, not really many surprises there. I guess, I mean, we knew time loss weapons were coming. I didn't know if they would be tied specifically to a challenge. I guess that's interesting. Theoretically, couldn't you just like do up to the encounter with the challenge and then do the challenge and then leave? I guess you need to get to the end to buy things with spoils. But I don't know. 1 time lost weapon a week. I mean, I get it. There's so many weapons though. So what? It's going to be 1 time lost Fatebringer 1 week out of like 7 weeks. That's not that many chances. I don't know. I guess we'll see how it works. 12. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll probably try it. My guess is this is not going to be as hard as GMs, just based on the power thing, because GMs are automatically, I think, 25 power above you, and it doesn't sound like, it says a few more champions, but it doesn't sound like they're going to drown you in champions or anything. So I would be surprised if this was kind of on par with GMs in terms of actual difficulty. I know people will be upset they can't one-phase bosses anymore. People will probably still be able to one-phase bosses, let's be honest, because like the hardest core PvE people are probably going to be ramping themselves up to be like close to on power here. So I'm sure for things like Templar, you can definitely one phase, and then I'm sure people will figure out probably how to one phase Atheon if I had to guess. So I guess we'll see what happens there. All right, this is the probably more important thing. Shifting Sands, mid-season sandbox update. Are those allowed? Can you update things mid-season? I didn't even know you could do that. Over the last few seasons, we've seen some pretty big changes to the Destiny 2 sandbox. Aggressive hand cannons jumped into the spotlight of PvP. Rocket launchers became an awesome option for PvE content. Dead Man's Tale started whistling in the wind, and much more. Over the last few months, the team has been working to prepare a mid-season sandbox pass, much larger than the ones we shipped in the past. That's cool. To give you all the details, weapons feature lead Chris Proctor has once again agreed to lend some time to the TWAB. Chris, hey all, Chris here. My Chris impression. I'd first like to set some expectations. Normally we wouldn't make large changes in a mid-season patch, but with a handful of weapons sucking all the air out of the room, we decided to bring some changes originally planned for Season 15 into next week's update. We'll follow this up with a big set of changes in Season 15. Moving these changes up to Season of the Splicer also gives us the option of doing some reactive tuning in Season 15's mid-season patch. All in all, we'll continue to make changes outside of seasonal updates when we can, but they won't typically be this large or numerous. Okay, well, this should be good then. So without further ado, the big ticket items for PvP are, no surprises, shotguns, 120 RPM aggressive hand cannons, and Dead Man's Tale. Combined, these dominate all forms of PvP, particularly trials. We've also been getting large amounts of feedback about the special weapon usage in Crucible, and this will be a first step toward addressing these player concerns. We're going back to double primaries, is that what we're doing? Okay, we can't forget about Sleeper Simulant and PvE too. Okay, so most of these are going to be PvP focused, that seems very clear. Intended special weapon roles in PvP. Most special weapons should have one situation where they're a dominant choice. If caught outside of this, you should be at a disadvantage. Moving toward these roles is a work in progress. Some weapons are not where we want them to be, and we've made some changes in Season of the Splicer that we expect to need more adjustments later on. Note that special ammo abundance in PvP distorts these roles, allowing play that wouldn't be possible otherwise, and is something we're looking to address. Okay, so no special ammo changes in this patch, probably in Season 15. Here are the roles we intend each special weapon to fill. Sniper rifles, engaging at long range while aiming skill when not already under fire. Okay. Shotguns, engaging at point blank range, using skill at movement or positioning to get close enough to get a 1-hit or 2-hit elimination. Fusion rifles, engaging at mid-range but careful positioning and pre-charging around cover required for success. Trace rifles, strong at close to mid-ranges at the cost of not being a 1-hit elimination, making it possible to be outplayed by skillful primary users. Grenade launchers, useful for weakening an opponent, getting damage around corners with bounces, or getting a 1-hit elimination with a direct impact at the cost of projectile travel time and being in a bad place if you miss your shot in the Singer-On magazine. Let's talk about some weapons. Shotguns are very dominant in PvP by any measure and don't allow much counterplay with primary weapons, particularly close-range primaries like sidearms and SMGs. Yeah, that's true. We see frequent player feedback about their prevalence in PvP activities and how they make it difficult to use various weapon archetypes that otherwise feel good against players without shotguns. We want them to excel in a narrower niche than they do currently, so this change aims to retain the reliable 1-hit elimination, but at closer range. Nice. And push them to be slightly rangier than currently at getting 2-hit eliminations. As with our intent for all special weapons, if a player is caught out of position with a shotgun, they should be at a clear disadvantage. With the ability to quickly follow up rising in importance, we expect faster firing shotguns to eat into aggressive shotguns' dominance and other special weapons to be more viable. Okay, so they're trying to make 2-hit shotgun kills more of a thing, rather than so many 1-hits at like a longer range. Increased aggressive frame shotgun cone angle from 4 to 4.25 degrees. I still don't understand what cone angle is, so I don't know if that's important. I assume it's a wider spread. We'll go with that. Reduce shotgun damage fall off minimum by 2 meters. Increase shotgun damage fall off max by 2 meters. So less range, except for slug shotguns. So are we going to be in a freaking slug meta? Okay, we'll see how that goes. Roadborne everywhere, just sniping people. I do love Chaperone, and it would be kind of annoying if Chaperone became super dominant, but I guess we'll find out. So that's what's going on with shotguns. Pretty much less range and more spread on aggressive frames. 2 meters is kind of significant. That seems like that will be interesting to watch, and I am fully opposed to less shotguns in Crucible, so I do not mind this whatsoever. Aggressive 120 RPM hand cannons were adjusted in Season of the Splicer, but this didn't make enough of a difference. Yes, that is true. We believe they're still too rangy, benefit way too much from a small damage buff for 2-tapping. It's tricky because now they're not that much different from their pre-Beyond Light form. They already had better range and a 2-tap with Rampage, but people have latched on to their ease of 2 and 2-tapping potential potential since the buff in Beyond Light. And new 120s in Season of the Chosen encourage people to try them out. With this change, we expect other primaries to become viable when previously 120s ate their lunch, including adaptive hand cannons, pulse rifles, scout rifles, and auto rifles, while allowing 120s to keep the advantage of hard-hitting peak shooting at range. Reduce precision damage multiplier from 1.8 to 1.6, preventing a 10% damage bonus from allowing 2-tapping in PvP. No more 2-tapping. All right. Is that damage thing going to affect PvE where... The hand cannons are already bad? I guess we'll find out. Reduce aim assist minimum fall-off distance by 1 to 2 meters, depending on the range stat. Reduce damage minimum fall-off distance by 1 meter. This reduces their damage fall-off advantage over other hand cannons to 1 meter. Okay, so they're getting less range, and they have worse aim assist at range. All right, perfect. And then we also have changes to perks. Oh, this is about everything then. Okay, drop mag can no longer roll on new drops of weapons. We'll have functionality change later. What? So there's just no more drop mag? Okay. There's a change coming next season that requires adjusting this and some perks with similar functionality. More on that later. What? I don't know what's going on there. Okay, that sounded weird. Pulse monitor. Fixed an issue where the handling bonus is no longer applying. All right. Rewind rounds. Fixed an issue where the perk would not trigger if the last shot in a magazine missed. Evie, why are you whining? Are you sad that you're not on camera? Okay. Evie's here. She says hi. You can maybe hear her whining. Rewind rounds. Takes an issue where the perk would not trigger if the last shot in a magazine missed or if the player reloaded another weapon before firing the final shot. Okay, I think that was affecting shotguns sometimes, maybe. Reservoir burst. We see complaints about the detonation on kill doesn't feel that impactful or reliable, so this has been updated with the same inconsistency and speed fix as Dragonfly. Oh, okay, well, Dragonfly feels great now. To exotics, we get some tuning. Dead Man's Tale is dominant on mouse and keyboard, receives frequent critical feedback from players in Crucible, and is strong but not worryingly so on controller. Oh, good. We're keeping the fast firing and hip, which we believe is key to the feel of the weapon, but with this change, it will no longer have ADS levels of damage fall off while hip firing, so it'll be the subject to fall off much closer. It will also require better aim to land hits while hip firing. We are deliberately only lightly touching ease of use in this change with the goal of not making it harder to use on controller. Moved hip fire damage fall off scalar was 1.8x to match zoom. Aim assist cone angle hip scalar reduced from 1.5 to 1.2. Okay, I don't know. I really like Dead Man's Tale, but I get how it is kind of absurdly dominant. I never play PvP on PC, so I don't know how bad it is there, but it sounds pretty bad. So I guess we'll see what happens here. Sleeper Simulant didn't receive any custom tuning when we updated linear fusion rifles, but because it has much higher body damage than other linear fusions, it didn't benefit as much from the intended global buff to precision damage scalar. Sleeper will now be the clear winner for single-shot LFR damage to edge out other LFRs for burst damage and largely match others for total damage for reserves. Also note that Sleeper's penalty for hitting the body rather than the head is much lower, giving it an edge in real-world damage. Fixed an issue where Sleeper Simulant was benefiting less than other LFRs from the precision buff. Total buff is now 16.5% compared to the 15% other LFRs received. So I think it's the best single target damage in the game now. Does that make it meta? I guess we'll find out. In the near future. Okay, so we are talking about PvE things. That's good. We have more changes than usual for a season coming in Season 15, some as follow-ups to the above, and others that were too large for a patch mid-season. Here's a preview of some of the changes, of course, also expect a new batch of weapons and perks. Fusion rifles. We've been wanting to tackle subfamily differentiation for a while, so we're planning on a large rework of fusion rifles, changes to fusion rifle perks mods, and custom tuning to most exotic fusion rifles. Is Vex Mythoclast a fusion rifle? Let's say yes. That's great. I love fusion rifles, and they have been woefully underused in every game mode, so hopefully this will be a lot of good changes to my favorite special weapon type. Really looking forward to that. Okay, breach grenade launchers. With the above shotgun changes, we expect other special weapons to increase in usage and believe that grenade launchers have the potential to become more frustrating to play against as they become even slightly more common. So we're planning a small change that specifically touches priming and cleaning up targets. I don't know what that'll do, but I guess we'll see. Scout rifles and hand cannons in PvE. Players have wanted these weapons to be a bit more efficient in PvE for some time. Yeah, that's an understatement. We found that minor enemies and high-end content take too many shots to kill with these weapons. Alright, so I guess that's what the buff will be when it comes. Machine guns in PvE. Oh my god, how many years has it been? Through playtesting and player feedback, we found they're not doing their intended job well enough, so we're planning a noticeable change for Season 15. Man, this is one that's been a long time coming, and it's finally happening. Special ammo economy, particularly in PvP. The above changes to shotguns should help tone down aggressive frames a bit. We've got a couple of small changes planned that should reduce the amount of special ammo floating around to a degree and have further changes in mind in case they're needed. Anarchy has done much too well for many years. Without counting the boost it's gotten this season, which is due to the sweet grenade launcher artifact mods, so we're making changes that make it great at rolls rather than being the jack of all grenade launchers. Okay. Anarchy nerfs coming, huh? I mean, I get it. This season in particular has been absurd with breach and clear unstoppable anarchy, but I hope it doesn't get just murdered. Exotic primaries. We want to give players more reasons to use exotic primary weapons in high-end PvE content and have changes coming to help with this. Interesting. This is why I got a text from my friend saying that I no longer can make fun of him for using Ace of Spades in raids. Probably will keep doing that anyway. I am curious what that change is going to be, though. In the more distant future, we'll keep a close eye on special weapons. We'll make adjustments once we see how they perform in the wild, particularly fusion rifles and grenade launchers. We have an idea of what may need more adjustments as these changes shake out, but we'll wait to discuss them as our plans solidify. We also keep a close eye on feedback on exotic weapons and which weapons are overperforming. We have some tweaks planned next week in Season 15 and beyond, which should shake things up. Are they talking about the ones I already mentioned? Okay. Note that we specifically look at Catalyst as a way to buff underused exotics. For example, this is why we made Catalyst for Trinity Ghoul and Deathbringer, so expect similar reasoning moving forward. Is Deathbringer good enough now? I don't know, maybe. At the risk of being vague, we also have long-term plans to address issues of exotic orb generation and kill trackers without making Catalyst for every exotic in the game. Are they going to do my thing? Are they going to do the thing where you just masterwork weapons and can get orb generation and kill trackers? Because that would be great. Okay, guess we'll find out. Conclusion paragraph, patch note preview. Are any of these interesting, or are we kind of past all of the interesting stuff? These are mostly like bug fixes, decreased trace rifle damage and momentum control. All right, sure. I don't know if any of these are that important. Fix an issue in which diamond lance can be generated by throwing a glacier grenade into a pile of Telesto projectiles. Is that a frequently used exploit there? All right. Maintenance timeline, Solstice of Heroes, and then we are at the end here. Oh, I wanted Shackle's video about Mithrax to win. That's too bad. And I knew they were gonna have the Saint in a suit one. I knew it. I knew like a million people would draw this. This is good because it's a Leo meme, so I like that. And ooh, that was delicious. But yeah, I think we're past the everything here, master stuff and sandbox stuff. I will also be on DCP tonight, where I will probably do this exact same thing over again, now that I'm thinking about it, since we go through the TWAB. It's a lot of stuff, but fundamentally it kind of comes down to time loss weapons are once a week things, like the adept weapons in Grandmasters. Does not sound like Master will be as hard as Grandmaster, but still probably pretty hard for a lot of people. Sorry, I'm fiddling around with this coaster. And then most of the sandbox changes that are immediately coming will be for PvP and pretty much addressing stuff they already tried to address, like shotguns and 120 hand cannons. It's more about nerfs for those, and then like buffs by proxy for other things. I guess I'm more interested in the longer term changes they're going to make. The Sleeper Simulant change is coming very soon, so I guess we'll see how that works. But mostly it's just a lot of nerfs to powerful PvP things, kind of building on the back of the stasis changes, and I guess we'll have to see how the meta shakes out after that. Since I am mostly a PvE person, I'm kind of more curious about those changes, machine guns and scout rifles and hand cannons and whatever they're going to do with Mythoclast, now that I have a Mythoclast, and whether or not I really need to go get the Catalyst or not. But that is not coming until Season 15. So yep, that was our meaty TWAB. That was a lot of reading. Whew, I'm exhausted. Now I got to edit this and throw it up on YouTube, but which you are now watching it on. And then feed Evie, because this is why she is whining. Yeah, I hear you. And this is her dinner time. So, all right, I'm going to go do that. And yep, she knows my outro. She's freaking out. Okay, you can't see her, but all right. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.